welcome to The Grind. My name is Hibaq Said. This week we're going to be focusing on how businesses keep a backup of their information. Is it important to them? Why should you do it? Of course, we have our entrepreneur of the week who is also going to be our analyst of the week, but first, market margins. The enthusiasm for cloud backup is certainly growing globally, with predictions that the market size will grow by around $24.65 billion by 2030. In 2022, the market was worth approximately $4.56 billion. However, some organizations may still be hesitant to implement the service, especially smaller businesses in the country. Imagine a scenario where a malicious cyber attack encrypts your company's data, or the accidental or malicious deletion of data by an employee, rendering it inaccessible. Or perhaps a hardware failure wipes out all your servers, destroying years of financial records and customer information. Without a backup system in place, such events can cripple operations, erode customer trust, destroy a business's reputation, and may even lead to financial ruin. The cost of data recovery after a disaster can be quite high, and the time lost in rebuilding lost data can severely impede business continuity. In short, every business, regardless of size or industry, that relies on digital data to function. This will range from small businesses storing customer invoices and financial data to large corporations managing intellectual property and engineering designs. Cloud backup, therefore, offers a scalable solution that can accommodate the needs of any organization. To date, 30 billion known records have been breached in 8,839 publicly disclosed incidents, and we're only just entering the second quarter of the year. To put this in perspective, that is more than 2.6 million breaches in a day, close to 112,000 every hour. This disconnect between awareness of the risk and taking action to mitigate it highlights the critical need for greater education and adoption of cloud backup solutions. Information is very important for businesses, and of course, when you are conducting your business, you have your sales, you have your revenues, you need to have this, but why should you have backup? Our entrepreneur of the week today is going to be telling us about cloud backup. He's going to be giving us clarifications on why businesses, even yours, should be partaking in it. Could you start maybe by introducing yourself? What is cloud backup? How does it differ from other forms of backup?
Okay, my name is Josiah Chege. I work for Savaco. It's the cloud provider in Kenya. We're based here. We have our own data center here. We have 4 different data centers, 2 in Kenya and 3 elsewhere. Actually, there are 5. Yeah, and I have been an engineer for the last, give or take, since 2011 till I think 2021. Right. Then went to the other side to sell. So I'm an engineer and a salesperson, both at the same time. Right. Yeah, so your question is why backup? Yes.
Why? What is the difference between cloud backup and, normal backup? A lot of MSMEs right now are taking up, securing their information, securing their data a bit more seriously. Some people are using the traditional way of writing it in books. Why cloud backup?
Cloud backup is backing up your stuff on a server that you don't have at your workplace. Right. Or rather, not. The traditional way of backing up is using flash disks or hard drives. Now we went to backing up on Google. I think everyone is backing up on Google, one way or another. So your phone, for instance, you back up your contacts on Google. Right. Now for businesses, it's almost the same thing. So they usually back them up there, but they don't know that they're doing cloud backup. So all along we have been using cloud. It's just that we never really knew this is the name cloud as such. Yes, so cloud backup is just backing up your stuff, not on premise. On premise means not on your premise of work, right. Not there. I mean, you have your paperwork, but then it's digitized too. save it on out of your workplace, another place, which is preferably a server on a cloud.
Right, and it's even more secure to do this.
Yes.
And it's gaining notoriety in the country. Maybe tell us, why exactly are people taking it up more?
Well, data is king. Data is a new oil. Every single business out there is using data to make decisions. We are hearing this flow of AI, business intelligence and all that. And business intelligence or artificial intelligence cannot work without data, meaning data is king. Now, this data is very important because it is used to make decisions of each and every business. So why back up your stuff is because that whatever you're backing up is your business. And if you're not secured, if you're not secured your information, then you're not 100% sure if tomorrow something happens to you and to your systems, do you have a way to fall back? What is your fallback plan? It's like plan B. So you need to secure your data in a way that you are 100% sure if something happened today, tomorrow you're still on, you're still working, you're still continuing with your business.
And having this reassurance for a lot of businesses is key.
Yes.
Now, of course, that is one of the advantages, but I'm sure there are many key advantages to this. What are they?
So the most important, there are several advantages of backing up to the cloud. One is you rest assured that your stuff is secure. Two, it's cheaper to do it on the cloud. Picture this, you have 5-10 employees, you're working on, give me an example, probably a car business. You have several cars that you're selling. Then that whole database of all that, if stolen by someone, it's detrimental to your job or to your work. So when you have cloud backup, not on premise, you do not think about the cost in terms of where is my hard drive, where did I put it. There have been rains the other day that we saw floods all over the place. Unfortunately, if your place of work was swarmed or was you are rained on, so to say, if your stuff goes with water or any natural calamity, then your business is doomed. But if you do your backup on the cloud, you rest assured that it is safe. You can access it at whatever time. You can scale it. Scalability is up to the cloud that you're using, and then it is cheap as well. I'll give you an example of what we do. I think backup for us is as cheap as 50 shillings a month. So it's very much cost effective compared to you having a sleepless night thinking about a hard drive where you are really not sure whether it is there or not, someone has stolen it and all that,
Now let's talk about research. Research is very important in the continuity of a business and ensuring that you have your past so that you can plan for your future when it comes to backing up, your data on the cloud. How exactly is it easier to even retrieve it and be able to do research for your future?
So there are several types of backups. So there is, I'll mention them as I go by.
Yes, please.
That is a bit technical, but for research purposes, so you can archive data and you can, so I'll have to go to technical.
Please, we will try to break it down as
All
we
right,
move.
I will try. So there's full backup, there's incremental backup, there's differential backup, there's synthetic backup, and as we go by. So when we archive, in terms of research, just on the overview, as I think on my feet, as we said, we know data is king. So if you have data for your company or for your business for the last, say, 6 years, 5 years, 3 years, even 2 years, what happens is you can get that data back and look at the trends, analyze it for your own business, Now use the tools that are there today, the AI tools and the BI tools, artificial intelligence that is, and business intelligence tools, just to make your decisions better. For instance, if you stock up clothes, the trends that were there are not the same that are here today. Or rather, it makes it very easy for you to make a decision in terms of the trends. And also it makes you see how far you have gone. Like, this is where I began, and this is how I've grown. And in the growth of this business, this is what has changed. So it makes it much, much easier for you to make live decisions today with the backup of your information from the past.
Right.
Yes.
Now, I'm sure for a lot of businesses watching this right now, they're maybe in panic mode. They're saying, how secure is secure? So how secure, one, is cloud? And how can businesses ensure that they have several, backup points that they can be going to when it comes to their information?
Yeah, so they have to vet where they're storing their data. You don't just wake up and choose a cloud without looking at several things. One, you need to look at where are you storing it. Does it comply? There's data compliance nowadays. We have a law for Data Protection Act, where the person who is keeping your data has to have complied to that. It's called DPA. Then internationally, there is something called PCI and DCS compliance. That is a requirement for the guys who are storing your data to have. And so before you think about where you're storing your data, you have to vet the person who is actually doing it. Are they compliant to that? Right. Then on top of that, you have to think about the cost as well. Right. How much is it going to cost me to put this data here? And then it's advisable also to, if possible, know the location, know how they monitor your data, know how secure is it. So there are several levels of security. There is the physical security, that I know my data is somewhere, and before I get into that data center, there are levels of security. I have to have my ID, I have to have written an email. There's that. And then also there is now the data protection in terms of firewalls. If I'm hacked, are they going to get my data? So how is the person or the cloud provider, how have they secured my data, that I can rest assured that when I'm giving out my data, that you have actually complied to everything that I need. So vetting for a cloud is extremely important. Not just costs, because costs can be a major factor for any business, but on top of costs, how secure is my data? And those compliance is a must for anyone who is thinking about backing up to the cloud.
Right. For a common MSME, of course, now maybe they're thinking of the options that they have and what cloud service provider that they should be choosing. Yeah. What do you say are maybe the top 3 things that they should consider?
One is compliance, as I mentioned. 2 is security. How secure is your data? Wherever you're putting it, doesn't matter which cloud. And then probably they should think about cost as well.
Right.
because it matters on. So the bigger you grow, as I said, cloud is elastic. Right. So it grows with you. Right. So you have to know how to prioritize even the data you're storing. So even before saying you're going to back up everything, you need to understand what is more critical than the others. I believe financial stuff is more critical than other things. So it just, you have to prioritize what you are storing, and on top of that, now look at all the other things. Who is this? Are they compliant? Are they secure? Are they in country? Right. Are they compliant to the country's laws? And basically more or less that's it. Yeah.
So you have to do your research. As any business, you must do your research to ensure that you find the best service provider for whatever business it is that you are doing. We're going to go for a very short break, but when we come back, we have more insights with our analyst. Don't go too far.
kiongozi ana hadithi yake ya kipekee.
Wazazi wangu walikuwa bit strict kwa sababu mamangu mwenyewe, mimi kutoka kuzaliwa sijailala nje.
The white small one, huyo ana sniff gunpowder na risasi na bomb. Alafu huyo mwingine ni Ridgeback ana sniff simba.
Even the employees knows that, so when in the boardroom is the chairman, the CEO and the rest of.
What point are you a wife?
The minute you get to that inside that door, you become now the wife.
Na kila maamuzi wanayoyafanya hufichua mengi kuhusu utu wao na uongozi wao.
We see God blessing us, and we now realize the power of giving also has to be rewarded back.
Kupitia kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi, tunakuletea mahojiano ya kusisimua na uchambuzi wa kina kuhusu viongozi wetu.
Pick your core business as the bigger stones. Put them in your diary first. Give priority the bigger things.
Usikose kila Alhamis saa 1:30 jioni.
In a world where challenges are as common as opportunities, there are those who dare to defy the odds. They are the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship isn't just about starting a business, it's about embracing uncertainty, pushing boundaries and turning dreams into reality.
Hata ambao ni pesa ya kusave, wallahi. Ambao mwaka ni pesa nyingi sana.
As long as you're earning something, there's always that opportunity to save. And you start with where you are.
The way we run the business is in a very unforgiving way, where every team member has to bring out their best.
So, to all the dreamers, innovators, and risk takers out there, remember, being an entrepreneur isn't just a job.
This week, as I said earlier before we went on a very short break, we're going to be talking about data and information for businesses, backing up your data. Why is it important? What should you consider when you're choosing a service provider in this respect? Welcome once again. You were our Entrepreneur of the Week. Now you're our analyst. Let's just dive into the technicalities a little bit. But before that, let's take a look at the business capital. So what are some of the things one must consider before landing on a provider? 1. Usability. Employees can be trained in how to retrieve any lost items from cloud servers. Acquiring such services should be easier to use to ensure a seamless transition. Security. Data stored remotely on a cloud-based system at a secure facility includes several secure layers of encryption to ensure only authorized people can access it. This also decreases the risk of someone accessing your location to physically steal data. Scalability. The amount of cloud storage you can need can easily grow or be reduced as your company or a particular project evolves. This is a smarter solution than investing in hardware and either having too much storage or not enough. Cloud backup offers different prices depending on the need. It's not hard to purchase additional storage for certain enterprise-level requirements. Disaster recovery. Storage backups should be part of every company's disaster recovery plan. This document is a guide to what happens when a disaster occurs, including who is responsible for what tasks, in an effort to get stored data to come back online quickly and completely. Working within the cloud allows everyone to access critical information and provide services after a disaster, even if the physical location is unavailable. And right after our business capital, we're going to be having our Analyst of the Week. Now our analyst is going to be telling us what exactly you should be considering, but first let's look at the technicalities a little bit. Of course, as a service provider, there are challenges that you usually go to. Sometimes it goes all the way to your customer. What are these challenges?
So the challenges are the compliance part. The hardest things to do, especially now talking about Savacor a bit,
right,
is when we came to the country, complying to the laws of the land is a huge task. It took us almost a year plus So that was a challenge. And I want to focus on what the government is doing, and is actually doing a really good job ensuring that the people who are coming in country that are actually compliant. Because what we do is we keep the data for you. And how sure are you that we're not going to use your data? So someone has to regulate us on how we handle your data or the business data. And that is what the government is doing. So compliance in terms of our Data Protection Act, you're not really given a certificate. It's like a checklist. So you have to have complied. Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have this? Do you do this? And they have a data protection officer who regularly comes and checks, are we still doing the same thing that we said we are doing? And they are very regular, so they can come anytime. And announced, you never know when they're going to come. So that has kept us on our toes to make sure that we comply. And then that makes also sure that you as the business, rest assured that the government who is watching over your data has your back. Yes, so that is one of the challenges in terms of business. In terms of backup, what we see is if a customer doesn't have the right advice from whoever is giving him or her advice, we see the growth of backup becoming a problem. And as I mentioned, there are types of backups, which probably in this section I will analyze to which ones. Yes. And that if you're ill-advised, then your costs will also be ill-advised. So the cost will be higher if you're not sure exactly what and how to go by the backup. But however, if you have the right people to analyze for you and categorize your data, then it becomes cheaper for you because you're doing according to what's best for you.
Right. Yeah. Now, keeping on, the types of backup, of course, cybersecurity is very important. Technology is constantly changing. How do you assure, your customers that their data is secure? How can people who have businesses ensure that their data is safe?
So security is in so many layers. One, what we have seen with time, the first source of your security is the people inside your own business. Before even we come to technology, how are the people that you yourself have in your business, how are they conversant with securing that data? Because what we have seen is human errors are the biggest source of issues in any business, from IT, even from the IT guys, because an IT guy can delete something and you don't know what to do. You don't have a backup for it. So what do you do after that? Also, employees themselves can be a source of issues on backing up. Then now that's the first big challenge for any business. So security starts with the employees themselves, and then it comes to now when you have your own internal, how are you securing your machines? Do they have antivirus? Don't they have? And then now, if you're doing things on the cloud, how secure is your cloud provider? We have a range of cloud providers. So still, I want to go back to vetting your cloud provider. You have to make sure that they actually are very secure. So there are also levels of security on a cloud provider, which I'll mention as well. So nowadays there's so on the technical part, there are firewalls which they have to have. There are policies that you yourself has to govern in knowing how secure your data is, and several other things that you need to do. As a business.
When it comes to these businesses, of course, you've said that there are different levels of security.
Of security, yes.
Now, as a business owner, when is it time for me to upgrade? When do I know that I need to be going on the next level?
Well, I think for me, I would say start on the cloud. It is very cost effective. Don't wait for you to be, for the need to push you to the cloud. have your data, secure it from the word go. If you haven't yet, you can start the journey. That journey can be segmented, because the journey to the cloud is also, it's a roadmap, it's a whole roadmap to the cloud, and how to back up things to the cloud, and all that. So my advice would be, there's really no time to scale to go to the cloud. There is no good time and there is no bad time. So it's just up to the strategies of a company on how do they plan their future. And to me, the future is the cloud. So if you are starting, just start from the cloud. If you're at the middle, look at what, invite someone who understands the cloud and do a roadmap with them. Select whatever you need to select, move it. Don't move everything at the same time. Move what is priority or what is not priority to you, or what you find fit to go to the cloud, and then move.
Right, and this field is constantly changing. Maybe what are some of the emerging trends that you see? What are the things that people should be looking out for?
So in terms of backup and data, AI is definitely the talk of the town. I would state that before doing anything, before taking a trend or taking up a trend, look at your business first. Trends can mess you up. I'm not saying don't hitch back to it. Remember, technology is also growing. We used to have machine learning. We moved from machine learning to artificial intelligence. Now we have moved to generative and AI, meaning the likes of ChatGPT is now a normal thing. Now one can create their own ChatGPT in their own. There was a phase for bots. If you can remember that you have a bot to reply to your text instead of someone else. Instead of a customer service person, we're now looking at, we are feeding something. But however, for any business, not everything will work for everyone. I'll give you an example. I don't think a car owner, or rather a car business, will need some of the things that another business, let's say like a laundry business, will need.
Right, and of course, speaking about different industries, different industries have different needs. Would you say that there are some industries that need backup more than others? What are the qualifications that they should be looking for?
On top of my mind, I don't think there is one that needs less of backups than the other. I think it's just the priority of what they want to back up. Because every business has a finance department. I think the finance department is the most critical, crucial one, then followed closely by the HR department. So staff and finances are the key to any business, and all businesses have finances, a financial arm, and so to say a HR arm.
Right.
So there isn't really any that can be downplayed. So everyone actually needs to back up those two.
Right.
So if you're talking about priorities, mostly your customer, your employees' data and their financial details, and obviously the business itself and its own financial details. Yeah.
So everyone should be on the cloud.
Everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, for MSMEs who maybe are considering this right now, what are some of the advices that you would give them as we start to conclude?
When you're moving to the cloud, I would advise, one, vet your clouds. Two, look at what is most important for you to move to the cloud. And three, have someone who will walk you through the road to the cloud. Because you don't wake up and go to the cloud. You have to analyze exactly what are you moving to the cloud, and have a good decision. I mean, have a good business decision why you're moving A to B. And at the end of the day, it will be way more cost effective than remaining on premise. And for SMEs, so there's medium SMEs and there's SMEs. So for medium, they already have staff, they already have things going on. For them, they need an actual roadmap to the cloud with someone who understands it. And I would say everything is going to the cloud. All applications are going to the cloud. So it's either we're using software as a service, mostly we're using software as a service nowadays. Almost all ERPs, that is the enterprise resource programs, like Sage, for instance, SAP, and to name a few. All of them are on the cloud now. And those are the ones that we are using to do our businesses and to run our farms.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Of course, all of this advice you should be taking very seriously. How secure is your data? How good is your backup? And you're ensuring that your business has a backup plan, a fallback plan. That's all we have for you this week. Thank you so much for being a part of The Grind. Until next week, same time, same place. My name is Hibaq Said.